because we're here to talk about our guests. So without further ado, why don't you just do us a huge favor, introduce yourself. And I really want to hear about this entire whole thing you're doing here, this living art piece canvas. You work with the art community and all that. So who are you and what are you doing and how can we get into what you're into?
Well, I started off as a hair model, but I'm Sean Ireland, but I go as Eligio Abraham is my name.
Eligio Abraham. Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So what is a living canvas? What is it all about?
Oh.
What's wrong, Andy?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, I see.
Hear
I know
you.
what's going on. Hi, can you hear me?
It just goes out in and
Yeah,
out.
everybody's... So how did this all start for you, I guess, is the first question, as far as like art and the type of art that you do. For those who don't know, explain to us your type of art and why you do what you do, and basically what started it all for you.
Okay. So when I first started, I was a hair model. My friend, I wanted to dye my hair. So she suggested I go to a hair specialist, her friend. And her friend was great. Her name was Crystal. So I went in there, found her, and then she said, "Oh yeah, I'll do your wear." And she went for this we're gonna go for platinum blonde. And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And so when she did, she's also a little bit of a photographer herself. So she did my hair platinum blonde. It took like 3 sessions, but we hit it and almost got it in the second session. And so that's why we were all excited. And so when she finally got it done, she took a picture of it and she put it on her Instagram. And because she's like already well famous and she was already kind of big already. So some artists seen the picture in some magazine. They seen it, they're like, "I love his look," and so they got and tried to get in touch with me to have me as their model for their page. And so her sister, whose husband is a big time photographer, and she does photography herself too, but he did pictures like of Kim Kardashian in them back in the club. He was during that club days. He was taking pictures. So therefore, he went ahead, and so I set up a booked appointment with her and her husband, and we did those photos, and then those photos got internationally sought after. It was like, wow. And those photos the guy used for the magazine, and that's how I got it. And so they introduced me and credited me as a fashion model.
Okay.
But I already was into modeling already.
Wow. So basically discovered right there and then. Wow, that's a pretty incredible story, because that's not how all stories like that. But wow, so you must have had a really good look, but not just that. You must have been really just part of that creative process. So what can you talk about that first experience? What was that like? Because obviously for me, when I don't know what to do, I feel like a total like, oh my God, yikes. I don't imagine that was like for you. So like, what was that like being there for the first time, being whisked away with this incredible photographer, getting discovered?
I'm just a natural, and because of my natural features and my nature away, it was easy for them to shoot me. And so that's how it got. And so that would led for me to start going to do fashion, doing fashion pictures and stuff. And I started getting more designers, and then I had like designers fly in to photograph me. And so I was kind of glad about that. And then I did that for a little bit, and then I switched into life modeling, because fashion never fashion follows trends and stuff, but it is art. And so art never follows fashion, but fashion follows after art. And so therefore I said life modeling was the best choice, because it'd be the best choice to go into, especially because I did want to do that. I see a lot of beautiful, when you go to the museums and portraits, you see a lot of that beautiful life art. And so when my photographer recommended me to do that too, I did that. And so that's what I'm doing now. Plus, there's a lot less restrictions if you do life art. You can have weight on you. You can't be like, modeling, they have strict, you have to be so thin. And you have to have that look that they're going for. So this way I can model, and I don't have to chase after fashion, but fashion's chasing after me, and I can still be, artly expressing myself.
Okay. So walk us through that process of that. Like the first time you did the life modeling. Like for those so explain to us really exactly what that life modeling is, what it looks like of that when you're actually participating in that kind of art.
Okay. So basically life modeling is where you go and you meet with the person who's gonna draw you. And you're gonna pose. They start off with gesturements. That means you pose, you hold that pose for like maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. And then the really long pose is usually 20 minutes. And you just sit in that pose for 20 minutes and up. And that's the tricky part, because most people don't realize you have to hold that position while they draw you. And so they're like looking at you and then drawing you. That's what they're supposed to. But sometimes they can look at you.
Okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about. That's how I'm like, wait a minute. So I want to make sure I understood exactly what you were saying. But I was gonna say, because it's that I've always been interested in. Yeah,
20 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, that's a very interesting side of art that I was always curious about. And how hard is it to stay in that one position while they're painting you or drawing you? Because it might look like it's easy, but it does not. I don't think it's that easy. I mean, can you walk us through that? Because I know doesn't your body hurt after a while when you're staying still? Can you
freeze up? That process is a little funny because each person's body is different, and so like I can sit like this, like Indian style. And other people, they try to sit Indian style like this, and it hurts. They cannot force their legs like this. It hurts for them. So, and when you're doing a pose, you have to do a pose that your body naturally can go into, where you can hold it for a long period of time. Different flexibility. But the main thing is what the artist is trying to get. They're trying to draw. Basically, they want to capture your drawing, capture you posed, and they dissect you in angles. So they can draw you, but also draw the light, how the light is bouncing off you. So it's playing off the light, how the light hits your body, and how it brings your contour to an image that they can say, oh, I want to draw that. It looks pretty good. And so basically what I do is I naturally fold myself into like angles where it's sharp. It's like they say I'm like, I am like a cat. They say I'm like a cat when I do my poses, because it's kind of hard for most other people. They try to do the exact pose. It'll be hard for them. But for me, because my upbringing, I'm able to do those poses in these little different type of angle shots, which is, like I never drew that. And so that's how. So I'm like you right now, you could do a pose that's comfortable for you, but if another try that same pose, they can't do it because they're like, my body don't bend that way. My body, I can't sit like that, And so
okay. How so how big is that form of art? Is it very popular? Like, let's say like the other forms of art exist, or is that form of art is it one of those kind of arts that you have to really know about, like word of mouth kind of art? Like, so walk me through that. I'm very curious to know, because I've seen that on TV, but I've never heard of it.
It is like that because basically people have to choose you to draw you. And so if you don't inspire them, they don't want to draw you because they don't want to waste their time. So it is like kind of word to mouth, as in they need to meet you. That's because how I got introduced is my other photographer, he did shots of me and he was doing it, and he said, Sean, I think you might be good. And so he invited me to the group. And then when I got to the group, they all liked me. They said, okay, let's see him pose. And then they had me pose with him, and we both he was sitting in the chair and I was sitting on the floor, and we both posed. It was a good pose, but they just want to test me out. And he just tested me out that first day to see if I was really serious about doing it. And it worked out. I have it on my Instagram.
Yeah, I think I saw you in that. Is it always like all the time?
No.
Or is it only that?
It's not always nudity. You can choose to either, if you want to wear clothes, or if you're not, or they'll let you know ahead of time if they want a nude shot or like that. Because basically, when you're doing nude shots, they're trying to get the graphing of the body, the way the body's set and the muscles set on the body. That's what they're aiming at.
Yeah.
So there's a question. There was a question though.
Yeah.
The Midiaki, I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry, but it says, what goes through your mind while posing?
Good.
Was one of the questions.
Yes, my mind is furthest away from what I'm doing. When I'm thinking about that, when I'm posing, if I'm trying I do a happy pose, I'm thinking about bunnies. I'm thinking about what I ate that was so delicious, and my mind's on that. So that for my facial structure, it shows that smile. It shows that in the picture. So when they draw me, that's what they're seeing. It radiates from you. Because if I think about how I look and different parts of my body that I really don't want to have seen, it will make me subconscious, and then I will start to cringe up, or it will show in the picture. And they're like, it's kind of hard to draw that because that vibe becomes the what the artist feels and what the artist sees. And so therefore I tell people, think about something else. When you're modeling, you're not going to look directly at the person that's drawing you because it'll make them feel nervous. It's like
okay.
Oh, for sure. And that just reminds me of people who run long distances. People have to run long distances or any sort of working out. Like I have to have music or something like that because you got to get your mind out of what you're doing. So yeah, I also a few things I wanted to mention when you were describing it that really reminded me of kind of like an anatomy class. Like there is such an art movement with the beauty of the body, especially the musculature. And I'd like to, if you're just joining us, we are listening to this amazing person speak on what it's like to be a living canvas. Now also too in the chat. There are some people who, nobody said that they've actually drawn live models or have been a live model like you, but I know that we have some people in our crew that are also live models, but, or have been, but there's a lot of interest to wanting to have that experience. I know that's something I've wanted to do, like have that whole artistic experience. And have you ever seen the end result and go, oh no.
I can see you doing it, Angela, and be like this.
Come on.
Oh, the draw. Oh, but you're never the poser. I got you.
Yeah, no. Oh God, no, please. I don't think anybody wants that.
I'd be scared to do something like that, I think, because it's like I'm very like for example, when I got married and I first made love to my wife, I was actually embarrassed of my body because I always get embarrassed and I'm like, oh, I don't know, babe, you sure? Like, so that's why I always wonder what goes through that mind because I think I'd be scared to do that because I'm embarrassed of me personally, but that's just
I think that's I think that's human. I think almost every human being is a shade. I know I have been. I've had my own body dysmorphia and my own separate body issues, and we can go through a whole life, but I don't think we got the time or the background training and the discussion to go into body dysmorphia. But I think that's a great comment because a lot of poetry and art goes into that acceptance. I think you're making a huge movement with that body positivity. Can you comment on that, about that movement?
Yeah. To me, like when like if you look at some of my poses and stuff, to me, I try to aim for like a Renaissance type of look, and I try to do angles like a Renaissance, like where they can draw me. I don't know how they're gonna draw me because each person they're gonna draw differently. Because you can have like it depends on where they're sitting in the direction that they see you at. They got to draw you from that direction, and you get a lot of interpretations. It's like poems. Like Shakespeare, there has been a lot of interpretations of him. They do it like that, and so when they draw you, each individual that draws you, they're drawing you from an interpretation that they see you at, and their skill level, which is amazing. Yeah. I like the fact that you brought up the fact that you brought up. You said I would be uncomfortable or have body issues. You know, that's the great thing about it is you never can grow in where you're comfortable. You have to step outside your comfort zone, and that's what I learned rapidly, really fast. Step outside my comfort zone, and then you'll actually find yourself more happy. It's like they say when you're young and you like don't feel insecure about your body, take a bunch of new pictures. Why? Because later on, 20, 30 years later, you're gonna look back and say, dang, I look good. I'm glad I did do that. Oh my God, I didn't know I looked that good. Because you really don't appreciate your body. Are you happy because you don't really see it?
Yeah, you see it through your lens.
That's a very interesting observation. Like,
yeah, and Andy, I gotta too. I'm really taken aback. It's almost like I want to go back. I'm taking some notes down. I'm gonna throw them in the chat. Hopefully, some other people will comment in on them as well. But like, I want to come back to this in my own thought process about the fact that you're like, especially if you're sitting around and there's like a circle around you. Every single person has their own unique experience and perspective of what they are seeing. And again, it's different than what you are and how you see yourself. So I mean, goddamn. Hell yeah, you connect this straight to poetry, straight to what we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, how it's the artist, their work, the reader's interpretation and then the discussion involved. And there's so many different readers and opportunities. So I think that's so great. Also, I think the freeing. Can we talk about the freeing piece? I think that is super. Yes. If you have questions you want to come on and request. Oh, it was you. I thought they wanted to come in. Yes, yeah. And please, if you want to, we got an extra chair for everybody tonight to talk with our friend. So please, especially when it comes to all of this, whether it's art. Have you studied art before, or you just become part of it because they mold you, or did that give you some? Because you mentioned Renaissance art, like you probably.
I didn't start this until later until I was like, when I like art because my brother, he was an artist, and he did different things, but I was like more like I didn't really get it. I was more into singing, and then later on I was like, okay, I'll do it, and so therefore you can come in at any age because once you see it, it's like you get it. Either you get it or you don't, and it's kind of fun that way. Because not like
somebody asked, was this originally you taking a risk and enjoyed it? What's the question?
You know what? That first time it was taking a risk, but I did enjoy it because, like, you know, some people when they first started, they do it by themselves, and then I actually had my photographer who take pictures of me pose with me because he does that, and so it made it more comfortable. So.
Oh yeah, that's definitely probably more fun with friends around because again, it gives a little bit of the risk away, but also. At the same time, it's also uncomfortable too, depending on your level of, you know, comfort with your friends and stuff like that. But holy moly, that is so incredible! Like, so, how many? Andy, I know that you probably are familiar with the story, but I'm not familiar with the origin story. But our friend has actually a connection with our co-host Leon.
Yeah.
How did you guys connect?
Can you repeat that one more time, Angela? I'm sorry, because you faded out.
No worries. I just. Talk about like our buddy. I heard connection with Leon.
That's how Leon. You know, if you ever see Leon's site, that's how I met him because he's free with his body. He's like he loves his body. He exercise in the nude where you can get your best workout if you actually work nude because you're not having the clothes to restrict you. And so he does his post where he's showing himself working out, and it's really good because I love that because it teaches people how to own their own body, own themselves. Because when you start to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love this about the thing that you don't like about you, you say, I love that about me. It's like it's affirmations. You tell yourself affirmations so you can repair the damage that you have either thought or somebody said to you that's stuck in your head, that keeps sticking in your head about how you don't like your body. It's like some people that has they started puberty early and then they got really, really hairy. And so guys like, I hate the fact that I'm this hairy. And then later on in life, they still hate themselves when they see it because they haven't come to grips because of what someone said to them as a child or in going through puberty that made them feel insecure about themselves. And so you have to reprogram yourself to say, I love that about me. And when you do that, you're going to find that your vibe goes up and you have more control of how to love better. Because if you can't love yourself, how could you how would you recognize anybody else to love you?
Like you can't love someone if you don't love yourself. Pretty much what you're saying. I definitely agree with that. It's hard though. It's easier said than done.
Andy, I gotta tell you, I'm feeling this conversation so much because it wasn't until basically when I turned 40 this year that I finally fucking
we're part of the 40 club.
And I fucking did it. And I fucking love myself now. And I didn't have marathons, dude, because again, like I think that whole experience was just how so incredible. Now there's a question that just popped in is can you give us tips on how to sell art?
Oh well,
how to do the art whole
I don't sell art, but I know other people they do it and I would say that's a question you have to bring a person on the show that is an art seller who is a seller. I don't sell it, so I don't know. I know people because I don't know.
We'll get somebody next time. We'll get the research.
Well, there's this one guy. There's this one guy I follow. I think his name was Lou. No. So there's this one guy I follow named. I think his name is Lou Jover or something like that. He's very popular, and this guy he'll take newspapers, put it together, and he'll start painting the most craziest things out of that. And he has done naked body art where he'll draw the person and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to get this guy in because I think he could answer that question. But I know his time constraints are very, very limited because he gets a lot of people who requested stuff in offices and hotels and stuff like that. So it's interesting that that was a question that was brought up.
Absolutely. Andy, we're going to get on it because we're on it. Because also that just brings it up. Looks like we're going to have some people coming in future episodes that are, we have 2 Keys Customs. I think they're going to come in and talk about their publishing because they just dropped a whole bunch of stuff this week. And then we also have Brianna Booker and Carlton Farba. They're going to come in and they're doing the live mics and the popcorn poetry thing that's coming back. So we have some people that are doing some random and awesome, incredible, different things. So art selling, we got you. That's the request. We'll take care of it and we'll get that person in. We'll find them for you.
Yeah.
I want to know that too. But if you are just joining us, Andy, we just had a couple of people awesome.
Yes, for those who are joining in, welcome.
We've been talking with this guest. Yeah. But we've just gotten to some amazing stuff. So I just want to recap a few things that I just think need to be said again by our incredible guests.
All right.
We're talking about body positivity right now.
Yes.
Also, am I cutting out?
A little bit, but it's not your fault. It's Instagram's fault. Right. But there was a question.
Come on, Instagram.
No, right?
Yeah.
Is Leon here?
The pink light says, "What do you guys think? What do you guys think about abstract art looks weird? Wait, what do you guys think about abstract art which looks weird?" Is what was the question?
Like Picasso. I love that.
Stuff. I love abstract art. Dali baby, Dali baby, Dali baby all day.
I'm planning on doing one like that. I'm planning on doing one. I have a French artist that he's really famous and he's gonna pay me. He said he'll pay me. I just need to set up the session and have him. So he's gonna do a art like that for me.
Well, he said it says in India, in India mostly common people don't consider abstract as art. So my question to you is, why do you think that? Cool. Why is that? That's a good question to ask. Why is that? Why don't they consider that?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to say as somebody, I don't have any art degree, but I have taken a couple of art classes at the collegiate level. But mine was obviously, I took a class about abstract art post 1940s. But I'd probably say like the classics, the Renaissance arts, and also some of the classics. It just has so much more, I think, attention to detail and the tradition that's involved with some of those classics. I think maybe what drives some of that, but again, that's good. Retrospective is some offered up there, but it just can't. I would be curious to find out that too. If there's anybody else that happens to have any art degrees or any art experience that want to chime in, because I can only talk about art.
The response was cultural perspective, and then the pink light says they thought it's baseless and senseless, which can be easily made by a child also.
That's interpretation. That's a strong interpretation.
Yeah. Again, like I can understand, because when it comes to like minimalism, which is a part of the abstract movement, minimalism can seem very my child could do
the pink light. He also is a model too. I know him because he's one of my followers, and he also posed.
Oh, wonderful!
He's great.
Hey, maybe we should get if you want to jump in, or if you want to get an interview, I guess you can hit us up later on. That'd be good to get different as well. But free to join if they want to, and whatever, do what they want to say and stuff.
Especially when it comes to topic. Also, if you did just join us, our guest also made a really awesome connection to poetry and the living model. In fact, that it does have that multiple perspectives.
And all that. He says they appreciate hyperrealism art. So explain. It's just realism art, because I don't know. Oh wait, hold on. Somebody's popping in.
Hey.
Oh, welcome.
He's my friend.
Hello.
Welcome so much.
Welcome.
Well, please introduce yourself and talk about this common topic that we're talking about tonight, being a living canvas. Welcome so much.
Thank you. Okay, so let me tell you my name. I am Ujjwal. Well, you can call me Rocky, and I'm from India, and I'm 28 years old. And for 5 years, I have done art as a profession. And since from 8 months, I have shifted from art to corporate world. So art is my side business, as I can say.
Wow. Wait, which is, oh, okay, there you go.
Sorry, that was no. I want to say, can you speak on selling art at all? Like, do you know how do you have any professional or information insider since having art as a background on that? Because we did have that question.
You know what? Question? I have struggled, so that's the only reason I have shifted from art to corporate.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. It's very difficult. A lot of people are trying to sell their own work, but again, it's still difficult. That kind of reminds me of our conversation with Robert Charbonneau that we had this week on Wednesday, where when it comes to poetry specifically, there is no audience per se that is not a poet or in that poetry community. So where does it go from here? So the same thing. How do I get my art to people that want to value my work? Because our work is valuable.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, right, we're here, we're talking about it, right? What do you think? Is our work valuable?
Yes. And you know what? In India, what happens? The mentality of people is, if you do a hyper realism, which looks like a picture, so they're going to appreciate you and they're going to pay for you. But if you make something imaginary, abstract work, they thought like, what is this? My child can also do this, and you are asking for big amount of money for this. So this is how their mentality is, and it is quite, hard to build career here.
Are you a surrealist artist? Are you also abstract artist as well, or
basically not? But I have tried.
Are you afraid to because it's wrong? It's bad. It's not good art. I'm sorry. You were saying?
You know what? I really wanted to try abstract, but definitely nobody gonna accept that art here. If I wanna make money from that, then I will not get results.
The good thing about Instagram.
So and then I have this question for both of you. Go for it.
Oh, the good thing about Instagram is
along this line.
You have the social media right now where we can talk to people from different countries, and that abstract art can sell because now we have an avenue for people to see it, and now buyers can like, oh yes, and that's why I'm thinking. I love with the fact that you point that out, because if you're only selling to like the local, it's going to be hard sell, especially if that's not the thing that's necessary. You have to sell to people that really wants it, that has the funds to fund it, and that would because you can't go into any high professional office and not see art on the wall. That's just unbelievable. They always have art on the wall. So they're buying it. It's just through private dealerships and stuff like that.
Well, we have a comment here from Geo Monster, our buddy here, that says that he has friends who sell their art, but they start at festivals and community art walks. And I think that's a lot of the times too. But again, you're moving in a smaller market and maybe more of a like a festival circuit and stuff like that, but that's not exactly what we're trying to achieve here, because there are artists that achieve that level of financial success, and so if they get to afford the freedom of living their art and being their art and expressing their art. So that's what I'm saying is art only valuable if it's purchased, or is art valued for something else?
Yeah. You know what, in India, here also, like, artists used to make like small events, but basically these events are very successful in metro cities. If you're in town, then it's just like a small exhibition, that's it. Nobody gonna purchase. People came, appreciate your work, and then they left. That's all. Because I have already participated in that, and as you said, like, put our artwork on Instagram, worldwide people can see and purchase also, but the probability is very less. Why would you purchase from other country? Because the delivery cost is also going to be very high. So nobody gonna give you that much amount.
Wow. Okay, that's very. Yeah, I'm just intrigued by this whole conversation. Wow.
Can I say this though?
Unless you are very famous, then only they're gonna spend money on you.
Or you have really good friends, because a really good friend of mine purchased a poem thing, and it came overseas from England. So unless you have just really fun friends that it want to buy really random things that will transfer overseas.
You know what? The worst thing of being an artist, your family relative and so on so person who knows you, they're always asking for free. Like, how can you ask money from me? I'm your friend, do me a favor, just like that. It's very hard.
It is very
few people
difficult.
are there, yeah. Only few people, like my sister, like my real sister. She never asked for free. I gifted one portrait of her and she pays me like, how much do you charge? She simply asks. I thought this is this. And then she pays me. I was like, why are you paying me? You're my sister and this is gift for you.
I have the same issue because my brother, he is a musician and he travels and he goes overseas. He's in the Bellwether Syndicate. It's a goth band. It's a goth rock, roast, whatever. But I wanted to pay for tickets to go see him because I want to show him that I support him as an artist, not as a family, but I support your work and I support you as an artist. So we want to show you that we support, and that's how we value it. Because again, we're trying to get money. Because again, thinking about people who do tattoos, you know, people who are friends. Sometimes like friends don't want them to charge them for tattoos, but at the same time, no, that's my time, that's my artwork, that's my talent,
livelihood. Yeah, that's the only way you can earn money, but people don't consider it.
Right, and that's a different whole situation. Again, because art is still valuable in our lives, but we are not able as artists to live a life like a person who is a lawyer, or, you know, we aren't able to live that kind of situation where we put all of our time into that because we have to have the day job.
Yeah, and you know what? Art is not that much common. Like for a profession, art is not very common in India. Okay. If you said I'm an artist and then they thought you are doing it as a hobby, and then they will ask you what you do, like what is your real job. They directly ask, which is so, like, what can I say? It sounds so rude, right?
Especially that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying to people. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, and then they were like,
continue. But I want to hear about the living canvas portion to get back into this, because that was such an incredible conversation, and I wanted to hear your perspective as well. What your thoughts were.
You know what?
Similar to our guests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. Like, we are facing so many problems. So the reason is we are the only one who created. Like, someone is asking for free, we are like, okay, let's just do it for free. And then they thought it's very for them to do for free. Why would I give money? If some artist is doing, for example, I do portrait, okay, and I charge 1,000 for it, 1,000 Indian rupees, and some so-and-so artists charge only 300 rupees. Then they were like, why are you charging 1,000? Another artist is working like for 300. So they don't know the artist, like how many years he spent on it, what are the material he used, and they don't understand the quality of
because what you're paying for really is you're paying for their experience. Do you want a person who's only been an artist for like 3 months and they give you their work? Oh yes, and it looks like well, a person who's been doing it for 20 years and the art and the failures that they learned and went through, and success and failures, you're paying for what you're doing is when you're paying, like, I'm paying $300 or $1,000 for a painting, you're paying for the experience. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the quality experience that they already went through. It's like a person, if you're buying a shoe, do you want to buy a shoe that you made yourself, or you buy a shoe that has someone already spent years making these shoes? It's quality. It's quality in it over quantity.
Because recently I have been through this and I have showed them picture. The quality of a sketch of 300, I can definitely draw in 300, but you will get the quality, and that sketch is so good.
You also got to be, but you also have to be being an artist. You also have to be a businessman, because that comes first. If you're dealing with money, you have to be a businessman. Because
you know what? Yeah, art is
the same thing. The same with writing and poetry. I think this is exactly
the legalism.
The same. And this is the same situation that we're in. Or the best way to get your work out, because again, nobody here is a poet without a day job. Or
this is true.
I model and I also work at a day job, so we're like a struggling.
Well,
we're doing what we enjoy.
Yeah. The question, there's a question that says, and I guess this is for all of you guys: is it always quality or status?
It's a little of both.
Okay, but why? But why though?
Quality is because you're working with really quality people that knows what they're doing, and you get their take on it, And then is it quality or what was the other one?
Status.
Okay, status comes like
so
this.
Then, it's like, I think of it, it's like the innovator, like the influencer. Like, would you rather have somebody who's been working for years, or do you want to go with a Kylie who has the influence? Is it somebody who's been like, oh my God, this is the artisan who has been working on this for 50 years and I can do something incredible here because they have the experience? I think that's where the question is. I think in your experience, you got to go with status because that's how you're going to get
and that's how they unravel the influence.
The that gets the value. But
I have something. I go for quality because I see things as an artist, and I'd rather work with a person that can take my pictures or that can work with me, that we can do something that's going to be in the front lead of where things is going, not copying what everyone else have already done to open up new doors. That's my angle.
And quality comes from discipline.
Wait, talk.
Absolutely.
I like that word, discipline. Talk to me about discipline. Like elaborate more on that, because that's pretty good. That's a really good word you said. That it's describe that discipline. How does that discipline come about?
See, how you will get the quality. If you are very much disciplined toward your work, you give proper time to it, and you are very much dedicated toward that particular work, and you are taking it seriously, then only you will get the quality. Otherwise, you are undertaking it. And very basic
even shit work also sells because people love it. It's a different interpretation of it, and that's why I love. It's like poetry. It's a different interpretation. Also like music. Also.
Commercial versus our avant-garde. Commercial is just
but I feel like
man's fashion, another man's treasure.
Yeah.
So it comes to businessmen and salespeople. They can sell it. They can sell rock. They can sell ice to a polar man, to the community, and they're like, what? That sells shit.
One more thing I want to add. If you said that shit can also be sold, then you have to make it your style. That person only makes shit. And that looks so stylish. Then only people gonna buy it.
A good example is at the Mona Lisa. You know that Mona Lisa was never finished. That's why she had no eyebrows. It was finished. But yet, another person can see that trash because it was not finished. But other people, they put so much value in it that it's like one of the most famous portraits out there, and it's not even finished.
Wow.
But I have did research upon it, and it came on limelight because that painting was stolen by like so many times. Then media coverage on it, and then that's the only reason people like, what is the particular thing? What is that magnificent thing on it? Then people come and taking pictures that, okay, so this is the painting who gonna stolen, and this is amazing and all. And people make so many perspective on it. So that's the reason it came in the limelight.
So Rocky, when you gonna draw me? Because me and him, we put set up a session. I like the way he draws and the way he does. But to me, I talked to him before, but more like model to model. But this time I want to talk to him as an artist.
Sure.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. I would like
collaboration.
To see that, how that
Who knows how we could all collaborate. You could do the modeling, you could do the painting or whatever, and then we could write a poetry piece all intertwined to each other, and it becomes this form of art as well, man. This is pretty good stuff.
I definitely want to say thank you so much, Rocky, for jumping in, because again, it's so incredible to hear different cultural perspectives, because that's another great thing about Instagram is that we are able to have these conversations with each other and hear from each other. And it's just eye-opening, and I thank you so much for sharing that. Is there any other things about like this whole experience or living canvas that you want to share before we kick you out?
Yeah, one more thing I want to tell you. Recently, I have like searched so many things like why there are so many paintings people gonna buy for millions of dollars. They spend million and billion also. So in research, I have found that so many big businessmen, they wanna save their money from taxes.
Yes.
You need on the head.
Laundering money. Yes. That is true. That's how you can unliquidate
in
your
auction
assets.
they buy the painting for billions of dollars, and then they give it to some kind of charity, like we are donating this to this, just to save money.
Art is so tortured, but yet we need it for the human experience. But we can't allow people to utilize it as chess pieces to ruin our experience, because art isn't for the value of art to me is through my own experience and spirit. And I think that's what our guest Elijah Abraham had said in the beginning, that this is freeing for you to do this. Wasn't just because you were trying to gain notoriety. You were able to find your own experience through this, and kind of you're taking the reward from that. That's what I heard from you. Did you want to comment on that? How that experience, even though you're not necessarily, the product is made from you, but you are gaining from the whole being the muse, so to speak.
Oh, I enjoyed that. I enjoy the part of me that I like about it is I'm a Pisces, so therefore I get more pleasure out of watching other people enjoy themselves. And so I'm happy just to be a part of that. So I got that second perspective. I love the work that they do and how I can work with them in my little, I would say like little things that can increase their art and see it for a different angle. And they'll look like what they see and they say, it was better than I expected. It was better than I hoped for. That's what I look for. That's why I do different poses where it's not the usual pose. So therefore I challenge them. And they like that because they get bored, especially if you're doing the exact same thing over and over again. Like in my pictures, they're all different. I did that intentionally because I would not want to be a carbon copy. It's like when Naomi Campbell said, there's only one of me and no one can outdo me and me. No one can outdo her being her. But everyone aim work on being the best that you can be. And that's why she had so many different walks. When she walked the catwalk, she had like so many different types of walks. And everyone's like, how in the world? You have to be individual. You have to throw yourself in that. You're born with the gift. You share that gift. No one can be better at that gift than you. And once we realize that, we all love ourselves even more because we bring something to the table.
Absolutely. We have a question from our audience from Craig Kelly, Poet Fan. They asked, how do you quantify an emotion? I think that's a great question. Not only is it a great question, somebody else in the chat said it was a fire question. So yeah, seriously, how do you guys quantify an emotion for somebody? And welcome everybody coming in. Thank you so much. We're going to be wrapping up this amazing conversation pretty shortly and going into an open mic. But how do you quantify this emotion, friend?
Quantify the emotion. I'm not quite sure what that means because I'm thinking when you're posing, sometimes you're not trying to be happy or you're not trying to be sad, but an emotion is like it's something that you give off. It's like a feel that you give off it's not physical, but everyone can feel it. What's that word they say? Nostalgia. It just comes off, and some people I don't think the artists tell them to feel a certain emotion. It just either you got it or either it's there or it's not.
What about you, Rocky? Do you have as an artist, how do you quantify an emotion in
that? I don't know. I have to think about it.
Okay, well, I don't know, because to me it's hard to quantify it, but definitely emotion does emit from things, from art or from something you read. I mean, I would cry on a goddamn commercial that got my heartstrings tugging sometimes, So that is such a great question. I don't know if we can answer it right now. Andy, what about you? Do you got a thought on that?
Actually, no. I'm just intrigued by this entire conversation. Sometimes I just like to just listen. So I've learned tonight just with this whole conversation. So thanks for teaching. Okay, that's why.
Okay, one thing I want to share with you guys. I don't know what kind of emotion we are asking here, but like few months back, remember I have shared you one picture of Lord Ganesha I have painted and sent you over there. Okay, few months back, I was doing my work, corporate work, and then suddenly I feel like I'm dying from inside. I have to draw, I have to paint something. And I'm very much, that time I'm very much obsessed about that Lord Ganesha picture. I was searching so many pictures. Then I got that very tough image. And I was like, I have to draw it. After my office schedule, 9-hour office schedule, I just sat down. I take out my canvas started painting. Slept. Next day I woke up. I continuously working for more than like 15 hours, like till morning to till night. I have taken 1 hour break just for lunch, and I finished that painting for 2 hours. And I was very much emotionally, what can I say, like very much religious, very much dedicated. I don't know. I was in a different zone emotionally. I just forgot everything. And then I finished that painting, and I was okay. Something is like feeling very light, I can say. Have you ever experienced
I think all people does that. Because like when you're modeling, you have to go into that mindset where you get it done. It just comes to you. It just comes to you. Because to me, when I'm doing photo shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna be happy or smiling in it, but I just let the emotion. You feel it and you just go with it. It's and then after the end, you look at the results. It's really
simple example. I can say you are hungry. You just did that thing, and you just have it, and then you are feeling calm. Like
I would say I say it for sure. In my own writing, or even in my own, I call them scribble sketches. I should call myself an artist, but I wouldn't dare call myself an artist to anybody who's really an artist, because I would be super embarrassed to do that. It's like somebody saying they're a singer in front of somebody who really sings, or a trained. I tried out for one band one time, and it was equivalent to me walking into like Pavarotti, who had been training, and I never sang a dang in my life. So I wouldn't dare call myself an artist in front of real artists. But I felt similar to that, like having a dark feeling or something that needed to come out, and having that be out after, or something, writing something, or even I call it, like I said, a scribbly sketch, because it's something. And at times I don't understand what it is. It's just words that seem to emit that like that question that was asked earlier. How do you quantify emotion? I can't answer that, but I definitely know that I feel emotions in quantities, and it's intense sometimes. So I don't know if that's the artist in us that experiences that, and that's why we don't trade for money laundering schemes, and we're suffering for our art, because we're here for the feeling and not for the finance. But the flow state is what is being referred to down here. So I got it. That will definitely be putting.
Yeah. Speaking of, okay.
So that we got another piece for the open mics.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of that, we have 10 minutes. I just want to say, yes.
I did have a question though for both of you, because this had come up before with somebody. We had interviewed Andy, we've interviewed quite a lot of people so far on our little show here. Yeah. But one of our interviewers talked about having a negative experience with trying to incorporate that body positivity and poetry connection. Have either of you had any negative experiences living a beautiful, just a body positive living canvas moment? I hope not, but that is definitely something that is real, that must be discussed, because it is the dark side also, that people will attack people for. I believe Leon shared that he had a lot of negative experiences, and he has actually shied away from it, and which is sad. But also the other person said they shied away, but they helped evolve into a bit different type of art. So have you had any negative experience with that, or what are your thoughts on those negative experiences? Because they do,
like they say, those people that say negative things about people doing modeling or doing art, it's
fuck them. Sorry, fuck them. Sorry.
Those people that have negative feelings about that, usually it comes from people that are your anti-fan. They're your fans because they watch all that you do, and they look for different things they can pick on you about, because they actually jealous, they envious of you because you're doing that. And so this is their way of having a voice. So I feel a lot of people, they take it personal, and you have to learn not to take it personally. A lot of the issues that people people saying negative stuff about them too, it's not about you, it's about themselves. They're just taking it, they're just reacting to reflecting what they don't like about themselves out on the person that they see doing the stuff that they wish that they don't feel that they can do.
Yeah, I like to say I feel I feel sad for somebody who gets so emotionally upset about somebody else's choices in their lives, and how it affects them to a point where they're so upset or angry where they have to lash out or attack somebody. Because I've heard, like, again, there people have had very negative, like I don't know if they've utilized the term bullying, but I'm sure like cyberbullying-esque type of thing. But I'm glad to hear that it doesn't sound like you've had one personally, but what you're saying is, I think, exactly what I think has been what we have discussed in the past. Rocky, what about you? Do you have any comments or thoughts on that, or is it totally different? Because again, you're coming from a whole different perspective.
You know what? I just want to share one thing. I don't know about your country, but what I have heard from internet is like live model is very common over there. Like people not gonna judge in a that way. But in India, if I'm gonna say that I'm going to do live model without clothes, they gonna be like mad. Like, are you crazy? Are you mad? What are you gonna do? Are you like prostitute? They're gonna compare with that also.
So that's it. So so you're saying it's so extreme you can't even explain that. Interesting. It is, because I would say it is very common. Here in the United States, I can say that, people, I wouldn't be surprised if people who are neighbors would say, I'm doing that. Like, again, there is a lot of that, but at the same time, there is something called like the Bible Belt part of the United States, and there is red part of the United States, very conservative, very traditional, and look very down upon things like that, and almost have the same ideology as you're wrong, you're horrible, you are doing something evil, you are doing something that they would equate to pedophilia, even though they're making connections that are not there. They just jump to those conclusions. So that stuff does exist here in the United States, maybe just not to that sheer acceptance of this is how we believe. It's more of pockets of, because in the United States, I think we are ruled by our major cities, which are very liberal, but we vote very conservative.
Nah, it makes sense.
And our
One thing.
Our political climate's crazy.
So
we don't have time to talk about that. But you can say something, Rocky.
One thing I want to share about India is that I have, like, few years back, I have researched about ancient India. Like before, like British government rule over India, right? Before that, like very ancient, in India, women don't wear the upper portion, what can I say, like shirt and all, bras and all. Like they wear saris, they cover with that only. In India, we don't have concept of wearing upper cloth. And people are like very much open about it and nobody gonna judge. And homosexuality is also very common in ancient India. In our scriptures also, you can find so many like evidence. In temple also, there are so many sculptures made like homosexual, and the sculptures of women, they have bare body on the upper portion. They cover only their lower part. So in that time, everything like so many, what can I say, like acceptance. After Britishers came, I don't know what they did. Like if a girl wears crop top or something very small dress, people gonna just like how she can wear those small clothes. Okay, definitely India is getting modern day by days, but still there are majority of people thinks that way only.
Wow. It all makes sense. And thank you for sharing that. It's so true. I was gonna say, we do have 4 minutes left into the second hour. So Rocky, I wanted to ask, did you? Oh, okay, he left. Okay. Wait, what just happened?
Well, ask him. He's still in the chat. He's just in the writing part.
No. Andy, just talk.
No. Because
somebody ever crossed in.
So
I can bring him back.
All right. No. The question is, did he have any other final thoughts before we transition into the next hour of the open mic? That was the thing. But yeah. Okay. No. It's okay.
No,
it's okay, Rocky. Listen, I appreciate you jumping in with us.
We'll get you back in.
I asked if you had any final thoughts before we transition into the second hour to do open mic and read poetry and stuff like that. That was pretty much my last statement. And then I wanted to say, I have so much respect for you guys for what you do. You know, there's certain types of art that we don't even exist, or it's even a popular thing, or like you said, word of mouth. And the fact that your journey as to like that confidence to want to do what you want to do and be comfortable like that, and that's especially for us men, that's hard. Especially I think Geo Monster said it best. It's all about cultural perspectives, because I come like in Hispanic culture too. Depending on what generation it comes from, it's very frowned upon too, actually, to do that kind of thing. So it all depends too. But yeah, I guess any last thoughts before we transition into the next hour? I guess, Eli.
No, we covered a lot. Well, then I met Leon. That's how I met Leon, through that. And we both like hit it off because I like his poetry. I like the fact that he's open. He's so creative in so many different areas, so many different avenues.
No doubt, no doubt.